June 29th, 2025. Slow Sunday, basically. A little busier than yesterday. I did make a trip to the storage unit to do some more searching. I seem to have misplaced my networking case, the thing that has all my network switches and Ethernet cables. So I sent out some feelers to some of the people I worked with at the last gig. So far, it doesn't seem like anything was left behind that they would know about. So it's either somehow I buried it even deeper than I looked today. Maybe I'll go back tomorrow and give it another shot, because my storage unit is so packed and it's annoying, and I need to really figure that out. Or just accept that they're gone. I bought I ordered a cheap one on Amazon, $20 router or switch. That'll get me going tomorrow for some of the things I need to test. So that was the fun thing of the day, or the active part of the day, which was mid-afternoon. Otherwise, the rest of the day, I just kind of dilly-dallied. I finished up season 3 of Invincible. I did my workouts. They're just wrist workouts right now. A little bit of communicating, a little nap here and there. When I was out at the storage unit, I wanted to find a new place to eat. I've been eating a lot of the smash burger that's right next to the unit there. And I thought, well, every time... Actually, smash burger is really good. And they have shakes that are really good. So I always get a shake. Man, this is not good for my health. So I was like, well, let me skip smash burger, see if I can find something else. I found this place called Melty. It's just a block away from smash burger. And they specialize in grilled cheese, which is like maybe the most awesome thing. I'm such a sucker for grilled cheese. So I went there for that. But they also do shakes. That's a really good shake. I got a raspberry chocolate brownie cookie shake or something. So now I have a new place to resist. Man, staying on a diet is really hard. Anyway, that basically comprised my whole day. Oh man, sorry for the yawns. I did sort of prepare a deep thought. I looked back in my little list of things I had written down. I think one of them, now I'm forgetting actually, but I don't believe I've already talked about this. So apologies if this is a recent deep thought that I've given, and if you've been binging these entries rather than seeing them in the order of, on the daily, it may be very present to you that I already talked about this. Anyway, long preamble there. I was listening to a podcast, and they talked about how some people are more agentic than other people. And I think their sense of that was that some people are just have their own strong will, in a sense, and they just are less led by the group or social influence and more led by their own interests or whatever direction suits them personally, and less by the group. I guess the term that kind of sticks to me, and this is a term that was given about me when I was in my late teens, I think, was that I marched by the beat of my own drum. And that's the phrase I'd say that most aptly applies to the term agentic, if you're describing a person as agentic. And I think because of that, I guess the thought I had that relates to that I don't recall, again, I don't recall talking about in one of my deep thoughts here, but maybe I did. Anyway, is that being somebody who is agentic, aka somebody who marches to the beat of their own drum, kind of means, I believe, that I'm a little more unusual than kind of whatever the norm is. And I think that's essentially because I'm not as influenced by typical social cues and influence. And I just kind of aim at the things that I enjoy or think that I will enjoy. And I just enjoy them. I don't feel bad for being into them. But as a result, it definitely makes me less of a kind of a standard apple in whatever sense that is. As a result, I guess I have to kind of lump in my second deep thought, and because I think it influences this quite a bit, is that, well, my second deep thought that I was almost considering being the main deep thought of today was that being picky is already a curse in the dating world. Being picky. But being picky and being a little weird, I mean, I don't know if weird's the right word, but just being atypical and or being, less than Mr. Perfect makes the curse an even more annoying curse. I'm picky about the women I want to date for a lot of reasons. Many good reasons, but I'm sure some bad reasons too. And it just makes it makes it difficult to find a good woman, somebody who I'm attracted to, that I think would make a good partner and would want to live life in a similar way to me. Oh, maybe it's the reverse is true, actually, that because I am agentic and because I'm not so typical, maybe that is what causes me to be picky. I'm sure it is an influence. And yeah, definitely it makes things challenging. Here I am in my late 40s, and it's just difficult to find a good woman. Anyway, those were my deep thoughts. I guess the call to action, what would the call to action be? Well, I guess maybe self-assessing whether or not you are agentic or not, and whether you get a sense of how that influences your life. Yeah, I think it's just good to kind of realize that there's nothing wrong with being somebody who goes with the flow, somebody who enjoys conforming to the crowd, enjoys the rules of life, the typical things that work. They make your life simpler in a good way and easier in many ways. Although, obviously, the wisdom of the crowd isn't always correct. And you could be missing out on great opportunities for growth and enjoyment, But nonetheless, being less agentic and being more go with the flow is definitely not a bad thing. For sure, it isn't. So I think self-assess and get a sense. I think that's the call to action, is just really try to get that sense of where you fall in that spectrum. How agentic are you? And yeah, maybe it could have a benefit in your life just being aware. Anyway, there we have it. Thus, the end of my Sunday, the beginning of my week. And tomorrow I'm going to meet up with some potential new employers in the area. Employers in the sense I'm a freelancer, but a production company that might be interested in hiring me from time to time. We'll see how that goes. All right, anyway, take it easy, y'all. Until next time, enjoy your week.